HowTo Linux this week is here in beautiful Redmond, Washington, home of some large corporations. Some you love, some you probably hate. But we're actually here to see what small companies are doing with Linux. My name is Chase Nunes, and I'm switching to Linux.
This episode of HowTo Linux is brought to you by Linux Academy. Go over to linuxacademy.com/howto to get a 33% discount. It's a summer of learning over at linuxacademy.com. You can go there to take your Linux skills up to the next level. Visit them to get a step-by-step video course, downloadable comprehensive study guides, and self-paced learning. You can quiz yourself, real-world scenarios, everything you need to do to learn Linux. And what's great is they have 7+ Linux distributions where they will customize the documentation and the courses to match the version of Linux you are using. linuxacademy.com/howto. Take your skills up to the next level. There's never been a better time.
You know, I've now finally selected a distro for Linux, and now I'm learning a lot more about the platform. But really, companies out there are using new hardware to set up really cool things. A lot of you guys are wondering, instead of using old hardware, what happens when you use new hardware? I'm here at Pogo Linux to talk with Chris about what they're doing. Hey, Chris. Hey, Chris. How you doing, man?
Good, man. How you doing?
Pretty good. Hey, by the way, you guys, this is Chris Stevenson. He's here at Pogo Linux. And before we get into the history of the company, why don't you tell me and tell the audience, what do you do here?
Well, I am one of Pogo Linux's Linux systems engineers.
Okay.
So my primary focus is going to be developing new products that use Linux and open source operating systems, as well as working on special customer projects that take a little bit of extra love to figure out.
Give them that extra care, basically.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, you know, I'm a noob, I haven't known much about Linux, but you guys have been in the industry for a while. Why don't you tell us about Pogo Linux?
Well, we've been around about 15 years now, and we constantly are working on new products that revolve around open source and Linux distributions for the more corporate world. Right. So large corporations, small businesses, medical research, government, university, all that kind of stuff.
Now, I picked a distro back in a previous episode, and so I'm underway. But the thing about Linux that I first thought about is, well, it's about putting it on old hardware. It's about reviving something old and getting more legs out of it. But what you guys are doing here is taking high-end, top-of-the-line hardware and implementing that. Well, how's that working?
No, that's exactly what we do. We use the newest products from the big players in the industry, right, to build real 365 days a year type performance hardware for all those big industries. So we're using the latest and the greatest, as well as all the newest distributions of Linux to provide an enterprise-grade product.
Now, I know everybody wants to hear us talk about this, but you actually got something to show us, right?
I do. I got some new stuff that's pretty cool.
Why don't we go take a look?
All right.
Let's do it. Whoa, Chris, take a look at this. This looks like a beast.
Yeah, this is the new product I was telling you about.
So what is it called?
This is currently codenamed the T10.
T10. Yeah. So not your average day calculator. No, this is full-blown stuff.
No, it's a lot more powerful than that.
Yeah. So what do we got here?
This is a new workstation product that we're currently developing.
Okay.
Utilizes high-end server-grade components.
All right.
But that equipment that's virtually silent.
Wow.
So this, your scientist at your local university can put this under his desk,
right, and
not have it sound like a jet engine while he's working on genome sequencing.
Now they'll have to believe us here. We're in a very noisy warehouse, but yes, this thing is silent. I can't hear it. I don't know if you guys can hear it at all. It's really silent. It's very high end, using great components. So talk about some of the components that you guys are using.
We use mostly all commodity components.
Okay.
You're not going to find anything that you can't find, you know, if you have a part that goes bad.
Yeah.
The cool thing about this, though, it's using 2 closed-loop water coolers to cool those Xeons to keep the noise down.
Right.
So they're completely maintenance-free. You don't have to do any work on them.
Right.
And it provides for almost a nearly silent operation.
Wow.
We run LSI-based RAID controllers,
okay,
so you can have data protection across all your data. Mm-hmm. NVIDIA graphics, so you can do all of your high-end visualization.
Nice.
And maybe game on your lunch break if you feel like it.
Sure, yeah.
And then the other thing that we're really excited about is using SanDisk's new line of SSDs, enterprise SSDs.
Those are really fast.
They're really fast. So we use those SSDs in a RAID array here that are hot swap on the front of the unit.
Right.
And that allows us to get really high performance numbers for doing all kinds of workloads.
So now everybody knows I just picked a distro. You guys are using, I believe, Ubuntu on here, correct?
This one, yeah, has Ubuntu.
But the best part about it is any flavor of Linux can go on this, right?
Oh yeah, we've tested this one across most of the major distributions. So Fedora, CentOS, Red Hat, Ubuntu, SUSE, Scientific Linux.
Right.
I mean,
Wow.
there's a lot more
Those are more than
variations.
I even know, okay?
Yeah.
So that's incredible. So what's the potential ETA? I know there's a lot of guys watching there saying, oh, I want it now, but it's still in development, right? So what's the potential?
We're right there. It should be on the website anytime.
So
So
we see an awesome powerhouse of a workstation. I would love to have one of these in my home, but this is just not about consumer and medical. You also do big business stuff here, right?
oh yeah.
And you got something really cool to show
Yeah,
us,
you can
right?
hear it running in the
I think
background
I hear it.
there.
Let's go take a look.
All right, let's take a look.
All right. All right, Chris, so we just checked out the awesome workstation that you have here at Pogo, but now let's get into the server stuff, right? What do we got here?
This is another new product we're working on
Okay.
for one of our customers. It is a highly dense server configuration.
Now, I'm no expert on servers, barely an expert on Linux, but it looks like you have multiple machines in one machine, right? Is that
Exactly.
basically
What this is this is a product that's used to be very dense in your data center.
Okay.
So this allows you to pack a lot of computing power into a very small amount of space.
All right.
And use less power than if you had, say, 12 individual servers.
Right. So these are individual server units.
They are. I can actually show you here.
Let's
So
take a look at one here.
these are the nodes
Wow.
that run inside the machines.
Okay.
And so what these are powered by is a single Xeon E3 processor.
Okay.
They have their own, each machine is independent, each has its own memory, processor, hard drive, network adapters, all that.
So kind of like a workstation where you would have everything in one box. This is essentially the one box. This is everything in one box.
Everything you've got right here is one unit.
Wow.
And these are becoming more and more prevalent in the industry because of how dense they are.
Yeah.
And it gives you the ability to run a lot of individual systems
Right.
in a very small footprint.
So you could potentially say have like a web server here, for example, right?
You can
Like
do 12 web servers.
do 12 web servers essentially. So what kind of software distro do you usually throw on these?
These generally run an enterprise distribution of Linux. So for your Ubuntu flavor that you just switched over to,
Right.
it would be Debian, which
Okay.
is what Ubuntu is based off of,
All right.
which is going to be more server grade.
Right.
It could run Red Hat Enterprise Linux. It could run CentOS, which is the more freely distributed version of Red Hat.
Right.
But yeah, pretty much sky's the limit on this as well.
Well, that's amazing, man. And it's not even that heavy either. But
No,
granted,
they're
when you
really
put
light, yeah.
But when you put 12 together, I guess they get really, really heavy.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Our customers are really excited about these because when they're running a lot of different uses, and they would normally need an entire rack of servers, this basically equates to 3 servers worth of space, and now you have 12.
But I assume, obviously, when a customer maybe might want to buy one of these, they don't buy all 12 at once. It provides expansion for them too, right?
Generally, but to be honest, actually most customers do buy it
Really?
completely populated, yeah.
Wow.
And then they expand from there. They
Like
utilize it
bigger
as
hard
needed.
drives and more memory and things like that?
Yeah,
Or-
or I mean they'll have all the nodes populated,
Okay.
but they may not use them all right
I
away.
see,
So
I see.
a lot of people will use them for cloud computing too, where everything is distributed across all the nodes.
Right.
And in the event of a failure, one node can go offline, but your operation still continues on.
So you mentioned not quite available yet. This is also coming soon, right?
Yeah, this is currently being developed for a special customer project,
Okay.
but it will be another product that'll be available on the website soon.
So we got server hardware, we got production hardware as far as workstations, all this great hardware. Where can people find out more information about what's coming up?
Yeah, again, our website's going to be the best spot. So
Okay.
PogoLinux.com.
Awesome.
Our storage products you can find at PogoStorage.com, but both sites link together. So
Well, Chris, I got to say thanks so much for joining us on this edition of HowTo Linux. And I got to say, I want to go back to that workstation and do some gaming. Can we go do that?
yeah, let's go do
Let's
it.
go do it, man. It's all right. Want to say a big thank you to Mr. Chris Stevenson over there at Pogo Linux. Man, they have some really cool high-end desktop and server-based systems, man. I wish I could have one for my garage to run my home-based server, let me tell you. Want to say a big thanks to you guys. That's right, you guys who are supporting us on Patreon. Go to patreon.com/Linux if you want more information on how you can support the show. And by the way, we love Twitter, so make sure you follow us on Twitter at HowToLinux. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you guys again soon.